Welcome back in, everybody, to Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. Another Monday edition, and we are set for another week of content here on the channel. Appreciate everybody being here this morning. Don't forget to hit that like button for us. I'm not sure what we're at. Let me double check. We are at 121. Let's boost that number up, get to 150 for us, guys. We appreciate everybody.
By the way, the Steelers last won in Philadelphia in 1965.
Holy shit. Is it that bad, John?
They don't come here a lot, but it's like 10 games, I think, somewhere around there. I have not won since here which is weird because they were a dynasty in the 70s. And again, they don't come here that much, but it's a strange anomaly. 1960. But as you pointed out, that doesn't mean shit to Nick Sirianni.
It doesn't mean anything to today. No. So that is an interesting stat. John, let's do some mid-season grades here on Birds 365. We'll start with the offense. Jalen Hurts, John. How are you grading Jalen Hurts out? 8-2 right now, 10 games in. He's got his best passer rating of his career, but obviously had that slow start with 7 turnovers in the first 4 games, 4 picks, 3 lost fumbles. Since then, only 2 turnovers in the last 6 games. So he's turned that around. Where are you grading out Jalen Hurts right now this year?
I give him a B.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I was thinking about a B minus, but he's come on, and I feel like I always tell people to embrace the uniqueness, which I do. So I have to do that myself. If you wanted to boil it down to, just pure passing, I'd probably be lower.
Yeah, I agree.
But he offers so much other stuff that you have to take that into account.
So a couple of them here. We don't have time to do them with all, but I'll do the Jody Mack rule, where if you had to go up or down, what would you go? I'll do that with Jalen. What would you say with that?
I'm going down. If I had to go,
I'd probably go up, just because I would factor in the resilience, how he wins football games consistently, and he has his best passer rating. I think he's been better. It's been limited, but I'd probably lean up, just more as a team success thing. But I think Jalen's a big part of that.
Oh, he's a huge part of it, but yeah. I also have high expectations. So
I agree.
I'm basing it on high expectations, and I thought he would be a better. I thought he'd be making quicker, sharper decisions with the change in offensive structure and all that bullshit. And it hasn't happened. In fact, it's regressed. So that's my disappointment. And I think if it had happened, the Eagles would be right there in the conversation with Detroit as the best team in football. But they're really good anyway. So it's tough to be, again, we're nitpicking. I'm nitpicking.
Well, that's grades. I mean, when you grade somebody, you're going to nitpick, obviously. John, Saquon Barkley.
This is A plus. Couldn't have expected more.
All right, I like to hear that from you, Johnny Mac. Both A pluses for us with Saquon Barkley. Obviously, off to an unbelievable start here in Philadelphia. He's been pretty incredible with Saquon Barkley. Already over 1,000 yards, fastest Eagle to 1,000 yards, getting there in his 10th game. He's at 1137 right now in those 10 games. So he is rushing the ball very well. And then I'll just ask you, just on the other running backs, I'm obviously not going to go into every single player, but other running backs, Gainwell and Shipley.
I think they both get incompletes. They don't play enough, you know, and that's part, a little bit worried about the Saquon touches, as I've mentioned in the past. So I think the Eagles maybe should be a little bit more disciplined. And by that, I mean, and especially in the first half of games, which ironically, they haven't been that good offensively in the first half compared to the second half anyway. But, if it's every third or fourth drive, just give it to Kenny, just to take off some of the workload. And then second half, if you're winning, you can do the same thing. If you're not, you need Saquon out there. You have a Saquon who's got, in theory, a little bit more juice from a physical perspective. Although their debate would probably be, he gets a feel for the game early, and maybe that helps him late. So there's ways to look at it. But I'm trying to limit his touches a little bit. So I think they need to be a little bit more disciplined from that standpoint.
John, A.J. Brown, where you at with A.J. Brown on your grade?
They're 6-0 with them, whatever they are. Yeah, he's best player on the team. Remains the best player on the team.
You
Best
think
pure
so? A
football.
lot of people are saying it's Saquon Barkley now.
I don't care. Not even close. Best player on the team.
Not even close?
Not even close. People don't understand. I'm not even going to debate it. This guy is not that. This guy is Nick Sirianni will call him, the best player he's ever coached. He is different. He is different.
What's the grade for AJ? A+ then? Even with the missed games and stuff?
6-0. They're 6-0 with AJ Brown.
Yeah, but you got to factor in the whole season. I mean,
they look like shit without him, and they look like world beaters with him. And he's playing receiver.
So you're going A+ for AJ. I'm going to go B+ for AJ. I think he could be better. I mean, he's been great. I'm not going to lie. He's been great. It's probably more on the quarterback than it is on AJ not quite being as productive this year, and he's also missed a few games, so I docked him a little bit for that. Smitty, John, where you at with Smitty?
Smitty, not all his fault, but I'd put him at a B+. He's been banged up a little bit past couple games with the hamstring, so I give him credit for fighting through it. So I'll give him a B+, but probably overall a B. Little bit disappointing, but I don't blame that on him as much as the offensive coaching staff, and it's been clunky. Let's be honest. We talk about it all the times. The defense, the offense.
I'm going to go Smitty B+. I think he stepped up in that one game where AJ went down. I think it was the Jag. Was it the Jag game? He had those two massive catches. I think he's been good in moments. Obviously, he's not getting the ball as much as I thought he would this year, but B+ I think is solid for Smitty. And then the rest of the wide receivers outside of the top two, I'm going to go like a C, maybe. Maybe.
C-.
Yeah, C might be generous. That's a
that's it. C- is probably generous, but again, I don't know how much of it is all their fault. Well, like the Eagles are, Johnny Wilson's a good blocker, but if you need him to play receiver, you're in trouble. Nia Smith is a manufactured touch guy, but they don't want to cut him. They didn't want to cut him. He can't really help you at wide receiver right now. So part of that is the roster building. And Jahan Dotson, I think, is fine, but they don't use him. So,
they just have no impact on the game right now. No. So it's tough to give them a good grade. I mean, you could easily argue D as Crowley and a couple other people in the chat put. O-line, John. I'm going to go O-line. Actually, no, wait. I'll do O-line at the end here. Tight ends. I'm going to go just tight ends as a group. Where are you on the tight end production this year? And if you want to single out Goddard, you can and give me a grade on it.
I'm going to give it a B for the group because I think Grant has stepped forward. Dallas has been good when he's healthy, but he hasn't been healthy. So I can't go higher than that. And then the third's been they lost Jack Stoll again. So, they activated, they promoted, elevated CJ Uzama is the word I'm looking for. And EJ Jenkins is already out of elevation. So right now they don't have a real concrete third tight end, but overall Jack was pretty good when he was here in a limited role.
I think Calcaterra maybe deserves a B+. I mean, he's been pretty good.
But he's been
for good. Expectation. I'm factoring in
when you're factoring expectations, maybe he's done more than expected, but I don't think he's been great. Just he's been competent, and Jalen trusts him. I'm not going to go higher than a B at tight end.
So you're going B on tight end. I like it. All right, Johnny Mac, O-line. I think I know your answer here, but I'll let you.
A+++.
A++++. I like that. I'm going A+.
I even give Fred Johnson credit. Not that he was great, but he persevered. But my God, this offensive line is good when they're out there together.
It's amazing. John, I said this on Friday's afternoon show on the National Football Show with Dan Cilio. we were talking about the offensive line, and I'm like, I know that we don't take Cam Jurgens for granted. I'm not saying we do, but most other teams in the NFL would lose a Hall of Fame center
Oh,
and
they
be trying
completely
to
fall
replace
apart.
that guy for 5, 7, 8, 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a Hall of Fame center, Cam Jurgens, but it doesn't even feel like there's a drop off right now. Like I haven't said once this year, man, do I miss Jason Kelsey because the team is that much
Well,
worse.
I'm not going to go that far,
No,
but
I mean
I
you miss
will
him, but you
say
know what I mean.
this.
It hasn't been a liability without
No,
Jason Kelsey, which
no.
is unbelievable
Like
to say.
people, I brought up those 2 Saquon touchdown runs. I mean, literally, it's not an insult, but where is he going to go except to the end zone? Can people pull up those plays and watch them? The blocking is unbelievable. On the 39, it was Cam on the longer one, the 30. Watch Cam Jurgens' block and watch Mekhi Becton wall off on the shorter touchdown, the 23-yarder. These are holes that are just not fathomable in the NFL or shouldn't be. And then you look at the numbers. I'll pull up. So remember, there's 32 starting centers in the league. There's 64 starting guards and tackles. That's what you're basing it on. Cam Jurgens in his first year after a Hall of Fame center, currently ranked 10th in the league by PFF. 10th in the league, top 10 center. That's pretty fucking good. And he might be the worst of the offensive linemen. The guards, Landon's 11 of 64, which is actually a little bit down from where he typically would be, but he's been dealing with a lot of injuries. Mekhi is 14, which is freaking phenomenal. And then the tackles, Jordan's number 2 and Lane's number 4. This is their offensive line. You talk about spoiled.
It's insane. It's crazy how good our offensive line is.
It is unbelievable. And with all due respect, and I know people don't believe this because I was shocked at stop talking about the skill position players. Start talking about the offensive freaking line. I know it's boring. I know it's not, but that's the key to it all. Saquon Barkley in New York, still a really good player, but because he didn't have an offensive line. The Saquon Barkley you see in Philadelphia is because of that fucking offensive line. Let's be honest for a minute.
I don't disagree with that at all. That's why it's the perfect signing. It's like, John, it's the same conversation, in my opinion, of the people in Dallas who were like, why didn't we sign Derrick Henry? Well, I got news. Derrick Henry wouldn't be doing what he's doing in Dallas. It's just not set up the same. Same with New York. And, one team's trash is another team's treasure. And Saquon Barkley has been an unbelievable addition to this team in large part because of that offensive line. I would agree with that, definitely. John, let's move into the defense. I'm going to do mostly position groups as a whole, but there's a couple players I think are worth singling out to get grades on them. Let's start, I guess, with the bad. Bryce Huff. Where's your grade on Bryce Huff?
Oh, boy. D.
All right. He's passing. Barely, but he's passing. I'm
Well,
going down.
I do not think that he has been a terrible player on a down-to-down situation, as a rotational player. Unfortunately, he was signed to be a top-tier pass rusher.
Yeah.
So
that's where my
I
F
think
comes in.
so, yeah, that's where the F comes in. If you just watch the snaps he plays, he's not an F player. He's probably a C player.
Yeah, he's not an
going.
F player. I know what you're saying. He's not
Yeah.
like the worst player on the field, but
Yeah.
he's not lived
So
up to what he's been at all. Or
So
supposed to
that's
be.
where I go. He probably deserves a C as a rotational player, but I'm going D because of the expectations. I can't go F because he's not an F player.
Yeah.
He can play. He's just not what he was projected to be.
All right, I'm gonna go one more edge rusher, and then we'll do the group as a whole. But I'm gonna go Josh Sweat. Where's your grade on him? Mine's pretty high. I'm giving him a B plus. I think
B
he's been real.
plus, yeah.
Yeah,
He's been real good, real good. My only worry about Josh is the snaps because it's happened in the past. And, he's playing a lot of snaps. And if he starts to wear down like he did last year, that could be a problem. So I think, I keep talking about Vic finding a fourth edge rusher. A guy's going to take some of those snaps away from not only Josh, but Brandon Graham. He's playing too many. And Nolan Smith has had times and he played a little bit more. Jalix Hunt played, then he didn't play. Bryce Huff, we know, is dealing with the wrist as well. I think they got to take some of those snaps off Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham.
yeah, I agree.
But Josh has been great.
Yeah.
Great.
What would you give the other edges? You're looking at Brandon Graham, as you mentioned, Nolan Smith, and then Jalix Hunt, who's actually gotten some reps this year. I don't know if we expected that or what, but
I think Nolan's improved. Jalix hasn't played enough, but did a nice job.
I think the fact that he's on the field is enough for me to give him at least a C, because I thought he was gonna be a total project this year.
Well, he played against He didn't play against Washington. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird
because he played. I don't think he played one snap against Washington.
No, I think he was just out there for
special teams.
Special teams, yep.
I don't think he played one defensive, which was weird. So clearly, Vic sees something very situationally with him right now. So he's played 42 reps on defense. Not enough. I can't give him anything more than an incomplete. Nolan, though, deserves a B. He's getting better. And Brandon deserves a B plus. He's been great when you factor in age and all that stuff. But he's always great. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
Good stuff there. Let's move into the D line, John. I'm going to do the same thing there. We're going to do the grade as a whole for the defensive, not the tackles. We just did the edge rushers. We're going to do a grade as a whole, and then I also want to single out two players. Obviously, the two Georgia guys, Jalen Carter. We'll start with him, and then Jordan Davis, and then we'll do an overall grade for the tackles. But what's your grades on those two players?
Well, Jalen Carter, I'm giving it an A.
I'm giving it an A plus.
Won't quite go A plus yet.
Okay.
But obviously he's been very good. He's playing a lot. He's showing he's got better conditioning. I still think there's another level he can reach, but I'm giving him an A. Jordan Davis, I'm giving him a B minus he does his role great, but it's a very limited role. And then overall, I think the group is a B plus because Milton's played well. Bit of a slow start, but now he's playing well. Moro Jomo's been much improved as a situational pass rusher, and even you get some snaps from Thomas Booker. So it's been a good group as a whole. And the top three guys, Jalen, Jordan, Milton, play at a pretty high level in their respective roles. So not much to complain about.
Yeah, I agree. I agree definitely with the DTs as a whole. I mean, those other guys have been pretty solid, and you're also looking at a top-ranked defense in the NFL. So they're obviously doing something right. Davis is tough because I can give two grades to Davis where I'm like, he's a B inside his role. But when you factor in what the expectation is, the draft pick, everything like that, I think it's pretty easy to go lower, but I don't know what's fair to do. Is it fair to just grade him on his role? Or is it fair to look at the whole?
Well, I think at this stage, then I'm blaming I'm blaming Howie Roseman for the other stuff. So
right. I'm giving Jalen or Davis a B, but if I look at everything in the 13th pick and everything, I'm like, he's a C plus. C.
Yeah. See, I think we can grade Howie on the players, and we can grade the players on the roles, and Vic uses them.
Right. Okay, that's fair. I think that's fair. So you're going B minus then for Jordan Davis. You went A for Jalen Carter and B plus for the DTs as a whole. I went A plus for Carter. I went B for Davis inside that role. I think he's done pretty good as the nose, and we're a top-ranked defense, as I mentioned. And I think B plus is the right thing for the rest of the DTs.
Yeah, I go up to a B, and because I was adding in the 13th overall pick as well, a little bit.
So you're going to go B then on
Because
Davis.
I just defined my grades now.
Yeah, right.
So I
Okay.
don't think it's fair to, those are Howie mistakes. Like Bryce Huff, he's not an F player. He's an F signing.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. We can't knock the player because
Yeah.
Howie misevaluated somebody.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, let's move into the linebackers. Same thing. Going to get the grades on the two main guys, and then really the other ones are all incomplete anyway. So,
Yeah. Nobody else plays.
yeah, there's nobody else really plays. Baun and Dean. Let's start with Zach Baun. I think this one's pretty easy, but
Oh, that's A plus
A.
plus,
All
A
right,
plus
I'm good.
plus. Not A. The offensive
Not
line
three
is A.
pluses, but two
No,
pluses.
two
Okay.
pluses. A plus plus for Zach Baun. Unbelievable story. Unbelievable player. Tremendous athlete. I can't believe nobody in New Orleans figured this out. You know, I give big credit for pulling the trigger, and I give big credit for having conviction. But I mean, he's tremendously gifted.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing, Mickey Loomis? I criticize him a lot. Boy, he's brutal. What? You got this guy for 4 years and you didn't see this? Anyway, he's been tremendous, Zach Baun. And Jacoby's gotten better and better and better. I'm up to a B plus on him.
Yeah. I
After a
think that's
very
fair.
bad start.
I think you could argue for an A on him, but maybe not. Maybe not from you.
Well, because of the start, I can't go there
Yeah.
yet. It might be A by the end of the season, but he's getting better and better and better. Yeah, great story. The Philadelphia Eagles of all teams finally have good linebacker
It's
play.
amazing. It's unbelievable. Take a snapshot, everybody. Hopefully, it's here to stay for a little while. Good stuff there on the linebackers. John, let's move into the secondary now. We'll start with the cornerbacks. Obviously, a couple there we got to single out. Quinyon Mitchell. Where's your grade on Quinyon?
A. For a rookie corner, you can't expect more. Cannot expect more.
I'm giving him the full 9. I'm going A plus for Quinyon. Just exceeded expectations, I think, by a long shot.
Well, I don't know. Now people have these unrealistic expectations, so that's always a sliding scale. But he's been, for a rookie starter, he's been as good as you could possibly expect.
Yeah.
And now people putting him as one of the best corners in football. Look, you're jumping the gun, but he deserves an A. And as a rookie corner, again, tremendous. Same for Cooper. Same A.
A for Cooper. I was going to go there next. All right, A for Cooper. I think is good. Slay, and then we'll do the rest of the guys as a whole.
I'm giving Slay a B plus. Just typical Slay. Great corner, aging a little bit, so not quite what he was, but just knows how to play. Very important in this particular defense as well. Another good season. So it's been very good. The only corner that hasn't played well is Avante.
Yeah, he's been out.
And now he doesn't play, but when he did play, D, he just didn't play well, which was a disappointment because, he's been healthy, but maybe the injuries took something out of him. And then, the other guys haven't played that much. Isaiah Rodgers, I think I would say, very good in a limited sample size. Give him a solid B plus in a limited sample size. Kaylee Ringo, even less of a sample size, probably gets the incomplete. But overall, it's been the best cornerback play in Philadelphia for a while, to say the least.
Good stuff there on the corners. I would agree with most of your grades. I have an A for Slay. I know he's missed some time with injury, but in coverage, I mean, everybody keeps telling me that Slay's falling off. He's not falling off in coverage. He still can't really be beat. I mean, gave up like one pass that was a long shot this year. Everybody's picking on him for, but I've seen him break up some great plays. I think he's been really good in coverage at the ripe age of, what is he, 33 or 34?
33, yeah.
Yeah, 33. So he's playing still really good. John, what was your final grade on the quarterbacks as a whole? I know it's not much. Isaiah and Maddox.
I'm giving him a B plus as a whole, and that's only kind of torn down a little bit by Avante's playing the slot early.
Okay.
Since Cooper's come in and A for the group.
All right, good stuff there. Safety, John. Let's go to safety. We'll do Gardner Johnson and Blankenship. I think Sydney and them are incomplete. So what do you have for Blankenship right now? I think he's been pretty damn good.
B plus for Reed, just rock
Wow, I
solid.
like it.
Rock solid player.
3 picks this year too, by the way.
Yeah. Just really good football player. And CJ's gotten better. He had a bad start, but now he's playing better. I'm up to a B on him. And they're getting better. If it continues to go that way, it'll be even better for the Eagles. But Reed is, he's steady, man. He's just maybe the most consistent player on defense.
He's been really good. I gave him an A, and I'm giving a C plus to CJ. He's kind of been a little underwhelming for me this year. I thought he was going to be more of an impact, but I'm not knocking him. I think he's been solid. He hasn't been a liability by any stretch.
Well, I thought he was pretty bad early, but he's gotten the speed under him, and in the past few games especially, he's been really good. So if that continues to trend in a positive direction, that'll be the defense as a whole has been unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I can't even fathom where we are with this defense. It's like I watch, unfortunately, because it's an ugly game, but I watched a lot of football over the weekend. And you see these defenses, even the good defenses, give up. There was a 98-yard touchdown by Tennessee, 98-yard touchdown against a really good defense. You don't see the Eagles blowing stuff like that. The Chargers, really good defense this year, all year. They had like a 27-6 lead. 3 touchdowns. They gave it up. It was 27-27, and they persevered and were able to win the game. You see all these hiccups, and you saw some hiccups early, but ever since the bye week, so this 6-game winning streak, the Eagles defense has not allowed more than 280 yards to anybody in this era of the NFL. It's easy to have good games against quarterbacks like Tommy DeVito playing this way, or Mac Jones. It's easy to play well. But against Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels, and even though he's young, and the Eagles had some bad quarterbacks in the run, but even Trevor Lawrence when he was healthy, not even 280 yards.
It's incredible. John, let's rapid fire the end of this. We did mostly on the offense and defense, which were obviously what I really wanted to get to. But special teams and then Elliott, but keep them separate. So Elliott's grade shouldn't impact the special teams. And when I say special teams, man, and then the punt returner, Britton Covey and Cooper DeJean. But Elliott, let's start with Elliott. He's the one. I got a low grade for him.
Elliott gets a D.
Yeah, I gave him a D plus.
He gets a D. I mean, he's so consistent, and for whatever. And Braden, man, I people tell me he's not good on kickoffs. I don't know. People know more than me, so I'm going to give him a B. He's been rock solid as a punter.
Yes, he has.
I don't know what it means to be bad because nobody returns any anyway. Who gives a shit about kickoffs? But people tell me he's not good at it. Whatever. He's a punter. Why should he be good at it? But they're trying to take some. Ironically, maybe they should let Jake kick off because maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know what Jake's so good at everything.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird why they don't use him, but I don't know.
Yeah.
John, 4 more. The 3 coaches. Let's go 3 coaches. We got Nick, we got Vic, and we got Kellen. Where are you on Nick, Vic, and Kellen as the grades at midseason?
I'm going to go A for Nick. I'm going to go A plus for Vic, I'm going to go B for Kellen.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty close. I went B+ for Nick because I docked him for some of the early antics and shit like that. I just don't think your coach needs to get caught up in that crap. I went A+ as well for Vic, and I went B for Kellen as well. And I honestly, I think Kellen could be at a C+, John. When you think about why Kellen Moore was brought here, he was brought here to improve the passing offense, though, right, John?
Yes.
And it doesn't look that good. It looks maybe worse than it did a year ago, and especially 2 years ago.
It does.
So how can I give him a great grade? I mean, I think Kellen's maybe a C+.
Well, that's the counterintuitive notion. I know everybody's hyped up about Saquon. I know. I get it. But there's unintended consequences to everything.
Yeah.
And the unintended consequence to this tremendous running game is that the passing game is not as good.
Right. That makes sense.
I don't know how you fix it, but they got to fix it.
Yeah. Even when they're throwing it doesn't look too great yet. And then last grade, John, last grade. The greatness of Howie Roseman.
I give Howie a B.
Okay.
Not bad. But obviously when you make mistakes like Bryce Huff, look, I have a lot of trouble, and he deserves credit. He signed Zach Baun.
Yeah.
But you signed him for $1.6 million, dude. Don't tell me you thought he was going
to
be.
And Vic kind of revealed this isn't why Howie signed
him. Well, I mean, Howie said at the meetings that he signed him to be an edge rusher. So it wasn't revealing. People should have already known that. But
it was,
I'm not, you signed him for $1.6 million. That wasn't the plan. So you kind of backed half-ass into that. So of course you deserve credit for it, but let's be honest.
Well, I gave Howie some credit for the draft picks who are now coming.
Well, he deserves tremendous. But the Bryce Huff, you signed Bryce Huff to $51 million to be a difference-making pass rusher. That's the goal. He's not that. So big markdown for that. That's your most high-profile signing, even more than Saquon from a money standpoint. Obviously, Saquon has worked out very well. The draft picks look very good, but that Bryce Huff is a blight, and I can't give him an A. Can you give him a B+?
That's what I gave him. I gave him a B+ because this defense is top 3 in the NFL. I just didn't think I was.
I guess. You're probably more right than me.
Well, I think honestly, I think there's a little Eagle fandom in mine where I think yours is more objective, and you can't swing.
Well, I mean, you got to put Saquon in there as well. Saquon's been much more than even
game changer. Yep.
They probably expected. So you have to put that in there as well. The draft has been very good or very early. So I wouldn't quibble with a B+, but I'm still sticking with a B because
I like it.
I got his thinking with Hassan Reddick, but it didn't work out. And you're trying to walk a very fine line there. And I understand the thinking behind it, but it didn't work. So you got to get knocked down a peg for that.
Yeah, pretty good grades here at the midway point. Not really the midway point, just Zander's idea of the midway point, and during the mini bye.
During the mini bye, that's the mini bye.
Yeah, prepare for LA in week 12 here. Birds are 8-2. Rams are 5-5. That'll be a Sunday night football game. Everybody, Eagles opened up as 3-point favorites in that game in LA's arena. So should be a good one. Johnny Mac, great show today, man. Any final thoughts? And what's on the agenda today for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Nick Sirianni's going to talk at some point.
It'll be Zoom, right? You're not going down.
It'll be Zoom, and then we'll be back in the groove. Normal week, coordinator day tomorrow, so we'll get the Lord Vic Fangio for his Washington game plan. That'll be interesting. And then practice, off and running for the stretch run. And I think they're better equipped not to collapse.
Yep, I agree with that for sure. Good stuff today, Johnny Mac. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Birds 365. Looking forward to that, John. All right, brother?
All right, thanks. Good luck, everybody. Saquon jersey time.
All right, good stuff. Johnny Mac joining us here on Birds 365. A great 2-hour show today with Johnny Mac.